Hey everybody, Rachel here. Gotten a lot of questions from people about the best way to create different cohort groups in Canvas so that you are able to create assignments that have differentiated due dates for cohort A and B. How do I do that in Canvas? So that's what I'm going to show you today. I am right now logged in as Cassie Myers. Cassie Myers has done a lot of work through trial and error to figure this out and has graciously allowed me to use her Canvas account to show this. And I want to give her credit because she's really the one with Elena's help who figured this out. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one of my live courses. You won't be able to create cohorts in a perpetual course because there are no kids attached there. Okay. So I'm in my live course, and there are really two ways to create groups in Canvas. One of them will work to create differentiated due dates. The other will not. Okay. And so I'm going to talk about those two different methods and when and why you might use those for different purposes. Okay. The first thing I'm going to show you is how not to do it if you want to create differentiated due dates. If you go to People and you go to Cohorts, you can first create a group set. Okay. And I might just call this Cohorts, if I can spell correctly, and hit Save. Okay. And then within that group set, I'm going to create groups. And I'm going to name one Cohort A and the other Cohort B. Okay. I'm not saving any of this because Cassie has already done this. Okay. So once I've created those two cohorts, I can begin to add students to them by dragging them over and adding them into this. Okay. However, this is not going to be an effective method for creating differentiated due dates. What these cohorts are, what these groups are for group projects. Okay. So if you had a group of students who was working on a group project together, you might create groups in here. Okay. And then assign an assignment to them with a due date. But what will happen is when one student submits the assignment, they submit it for the entire group. Okay. So this functionality here, and I'm in People and I'm under Cohorts, is for group projects. So that's how you might use this tool and for that purpose. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. But the main point here is that this is not the best method if you're looking to create differentiated separate due dates for cohorts A and B. Okay. Instead, okay, you're going to go to Settings. In your live course, you're going to go to Sections at the top here. Okay. And you're going to add a new section. Okay. And I'm going to call this Cohort, oh my goodness, A, and add the section, and then I'm going to do the same thing for Cohort B. Okay. And you can see here that Cassie has done that already. She has a Cohort A, a Cohort B. This is already created. That has every single one of her students in her Medieval History Period 3 course. Okay. She's also created a separate section to keep her e-learners separate. At some point, those e-learners are going to be removed from rosters, but just know that that's something she's chosen to do to kind of keep the organization separate and clear for herself. Okay. So when you first create these sections, you won't have any students in them. So you'll have to do an additional step. Okay. What you'll do is once you've created your Cohort A and Cohort B here under the Sections tab, which again is in Settings for your live course, you'll need to add students to those sections. So you'll go to People. And in People, you're going to see your roster of humans. Okay. You might see some observers. Observers are parents. Don't add them to a cohort. They will come with the kid that they are attached to anyhow. Okay. But for each of the students in my on my roster in my live course, I'm going to click on the three dots next to them, and I'm going to click Edit Sections. Okay. And here I'm going to type in the cohort that I want to add them to. Okay. You can see that Cassie has gone ahead and added this student to Cohort A. Okay. And automatically this student is in just the larger group because that's everybody and their mom. Okay. And then click Update. Okay. So you can see she's gone through for each of the students on her roster, and she has added them to either Cohort A or Cohort B, depending on which that is. and she went to IC to see the list of cohorts. Okay. So once I've added the kids to the different course sections under settings, okay, I've got 17 users in cohort A and 8 users in cohort B. I'm ready now to create an assignment and set different due dates for those 2 cohorts. So how do I do that? Okay. Well, I'm going to create the assignment in my perpetual course. So if I go back to the dashboard and I go down to the perpetual course for medieval history, okay, I'm going to go to assignments, and I'm just going to create a test assignment just so I can show you this. I'm going to add an assignment, and I'm just going to call it test, okay, test, okay. I'm not going to worry about making it worth any points or play with submission type. The one thing that I do want to say is that you don't want to add a due date in your perpetual if you are planning to have the due date be different for cohort A and B. If you want one due date for everybody, you can go ahead here and select everyone, and you can choose a due date. And when you sync it over in your live courses, that same due date will show up for every kid on your roster. If instead this is an assignment where I want to have a different due date for cohort A and a different due date for cohort B, I'm going to leave this blank. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So now I've created this assignment. I'm going to sync it over to my live courses. And remember that I've left the due date blank here on purpose in my perpetual. Because what I'm going to do once it's done syncing is I am going to go to my dashboard in just a moment here. And I'm going to go to one of my live courses of that same course. So I'm going to go to a live version of my medieval history course. Okay. I'm going to go to assignments. And here I'm going to see my test assignment. I'm going to open this up. And remember, I'm in one of my live sections. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to scroll down to the due date. Okay. And this time I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to say cohort A. And I want to set a due date for next Monday for cohort A, the 24th. Okay. And then I want to click the add button because I have a separate due date I want to create for cohort B. And I'm going to make the due date for cohort B Tuesday the 25th. Okay. I'm going to hit save and publish. And it's saying you haven't added all sections to this assignment. That's okay. I don't want to choose all students, which is this first medieval history. I don't want to assign this to e-learners, so I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to hit continue. Okay. I'm going to go to calendar. Yes. And you can see my test assignment that there's a separate due date here for cohort A on Monday the 24th and a separate due date for cohort B on Tuesday the 25th. So that's how you create separate due dates, differentiated due dates for cohorts. If you have any questions or need help with that, come see me. But remember that you can only do it in a live version of your course. Okay. And we're going to go down to settings, sections, create sections. Then we go to people, to our roster. We click on the 3 dots next to each kid. We click edit sections and we add each kid to the appropriate cohort. And then we're able, under assignments, to set separate due dates for cohort A and B. Okay. When in doubt, you can ask me for help, or Cassie Myers is a great resource. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.